So once again, we're out at Big Valley. Woo! 7-foot high reed canary grass. The DR mower, I just loaded it back up. I'm gonna be the death of that machine, I tell you. I think this is more than it was designed to do. But it, you know, it does 2 feet at a time, 24-inch swath, 8 horsepower. It's pretty amazing. So I'm out at Big Valley. It is an epic year for grass. Actually, up here in the Pacific Northwest, it's an epic year for everything that grows, which is good. Hard to keep up with, though. So I'm going to do a final custom-built early years based on some of the articles that Joe Busso provided from St. Louis in his research. So Joe, this is all about you. And I think it's really interesting stuff. Hopefully other people will too. I'll put up some of these articles, but they're really hard to read as part of a video, so bear with me. I'm gonna I think it'll go pretty well. But I did want to say that YouTube gave me a warning that that I had violated their conduct code by promoting something about nicotine. Duh. So it was a video, and it was just one video. It was the one from the 2018 Las Vegas Pipe Show when I was down in Death Valley. And I never look at these videos after I take them. But this one I looked at in order to see what they had a problem with. You know, did I promote something? I might have, I mean, nothing out of the ordinary, you know? And I liked the video. I had such a great time down there that I think the video reflected that. So I appealed it, but, you know. So if my NWPipeSmoker page just goes poof and disappears, you know why. So I just if they have a problem with that video, they're gonna have a problem with all my videos, right? So I would say, but we'll see what happens. You know, it might have been just a machine thing looking for something. Who knows? I have no idea how they picked it out. Or maybe somebody complained about it, or who knows. So the reality is that YouTube, it's kind of like Facebook. They hold all the cards, you know. You really don't have any rights. We're using YouTube and having fun with it, and at our peril, I guess. I mean, I don't know, you know. So we'll see what happens. A little housekeeping. This is, I thought I'd smoke an old custom built. So this is really an old custom built. It's kind of a panel billiard, sort of. Really well worn, not crisp like the new ones. And the custom built is so faint that it's really hard to see. But boy, is that a craggy pipe, right? Pretty amazing. So that's what we're talking about, is these custom builds. Now, if you're going, oh, I want a custom build, I want a custom build. I'll tell you what, there are a lot of pipes from the same era, maybe a little later. It took people a while to realize that, you know, this was kind of cool, and they could mimic it, the rustication and so forth. So you'll often find Tom Howard pipes. This is one of those. They're often large pipes, a little florid sometimes for my taste, but you know, you may just fall in love with them. This one's pretty moderate, actually. So, no, wait, I'm wrong. This is not a Tom Howard. This is a Chadwick Deluxe. Yep, Deluxe. Imported briar. I think I picked this up like real cheap on eBay. But nice thick walls. And honestly, if you could see some of the wood, it is really fine grained, nice stuff. And I don't see a single fill. So maybe it is deluxe. Wow. So that's, you know, you can get custom built like pipes, sometimes for dirt cheap. They're really underappreciated. This is a Craftsman custom dash made in script. So obviously a knockoff. But you know, for the period, it probably had good wood. And it's a fine pipe, you know? So, it's like people who will only drive a certain kind of car or something. You know, break a leg. But there's some really great pipes out there that are good values, that are very reminiscent, in fact, intentionally so, of custom builds. So this first article was from September 3rd, I think, 1946, in the Indianapolis Star newspaper. So I'm going to read it. I'll try and make it quick and entertaining. Look closely the next time you see a picture of Marshal Joseph Stalin of the USSR smoking a pipe. That pipe may be, in a manner of speaking, a fellow citizen. It's a super pipe made of the finest Algerian briar and hand-carved with much artistry as well as diplomacy by Hetzer B. Hartsock, 6723 Hillside Avenue, Indianapolis, artist and sculptor who specializes in wood carving. Mr. Hartsock made the pipe to fill a special order received by the Custom Built Pipes Incorporated of Indianapolis. Tracy M. Mincer, president of the company, got a letter from J.N. Landau of New York, briar importer and a member of the New York Chess Club, saying that the national chess team of the United States wanted a unique pipe to present to Marshal Stalin when the team arrives in Russia to play the Russian team. Remember, this is 1946, so I think there was a desire for everybody to get along. The Cold War hadn't really kicked off yet, I think. I don't know. It kind of has that tone. Mr. Hartsock made the pipe in 3 weeks, though much of the work was so delicate he had to use a magnifying glass. The pipe is 8.5 inches long and 3.5 inches high, and, seeing that Marshal Stalin is an ardent chess fan, its theme is chess. Its main decoration consists of Marshal Stalin and the late President Roosevelt seated at a table, engaged in a game of chess. That's where the diplomacy angle comes in. Mr. Hartsock got a book on chess, studied the diagrams, and arranged the men so that it is a stalemate. Neither one is winning. Stalin wears his Russian boots and smokes a pipe. President Roosevelt has a cigarette, and both wear affable smiles. Around the top of the bowl are figures of chessmen, and underneath the table is a scrollwork design in French Rococo. The pipe was shipped last Monday. The chess team has sailed for Europe and hope the pipe will catch up with them. Mr. Hartsock has carved half a dozen other unique pipes that have been displayed in various exclusive men's shops in different parts of the country. They include a bass fisherman, mallard ducks, Rip Van Winkle, and a quote-unquote drunken cowboy. His next project, now that the international chess game is out of the way, will be Old King Cole. Nat King Cole, I believe. Before he starts in to do the carving, Mr. Hartsock makes a sketch, quote-unquote, in clay and works from that. A graduate of DePauw University, he studied at the John Herron Art Institute under David Rubin. So, kind of cool. A custom-built pipe was given to Stalin. Okay, let's do another one. This was from March 1973, the Indianapolis News in Indianapolis. Maybe Stalin had Indianapolis pipe. So this is, well, I'll just read it. See, I'm working on my laptop because I'm furloughed and I can't get into the office and make a paper copy. And libraries are still closed, I believe. So that's how it goes. Okay, so let's zoom in just a little more so I can see this. It would be impossible to read. As part of the video. I'm smoking some Dunhill nightcap. I found some really dried up nightcap in a bag that somebody had given me. It was probably 4 or 5 ounces. So I'd kind of forgotten it, and it was pretty dried up. But I put it in a jar, and so I thought, well, I'll smoke a little bit, see how it is. Not a lot of flavor. But then, you know, ever since I lost my sense of taste and smell for that week, it hasn't really come back. I mean, a little bit, but it's not what it was. So, who knows? You know, we're hearing about, I mean, if that was COVID, it may not. Who knows? I've been tested, I came out negative, so who knows? Anyway, let's get back to this, to the business at hand. Maybe Stalin had Indianapolis pipe. This from 1973. If you see a picture of the late Joseph Stalin smoking a pipe, chances are it might have been made in Indianapolis. Over the years, the Tracy Mincer Pipe Company, 546 South Meridian, has made pipes, for such other famous persons as Paul Whiteman, actor John Payne, Arthur Godfrey, General Douglas MacArthur, and Eddie Cantor. No two pipes are exactly alike. There are no patterns or molds. Each pipe created by the owner, Claude Stewart, and his craftsman is different. So remember, this is 1973. So Tracy Mincer, who lost control of the factory back in like 1952. And then he died in 64. So this is Claude Stewart. And I'll read a little obit of his too. And his wife was involved. Anyway, they go into it a bit. So the pipes, which sell from $5 to $500 each, are made from briar wood from the Mediterranean area. The wood is carefully selected, rough sawn to shape, bored for bowl and stem, trimmed, decorated, polished, dyed, and fitted with a stem. The firm has been in business since 1929. So that was the Tracy Mincer started in 1929, although not a whole lot of supporting evidence, other than anecdotal for that. At one time, in the peak of pipe smoking during World War II, a little fire call. I know. Yeah, that's not me. Okay. So this is interesting. At one time, in the peak of pipe smoking during World War II, so they're saying, from their 1973 perspective, that was the peak of pipe smoking, was World War II. The company employed 200 persons. Today, there are just Stewart and his wife, a son-in-law, Ed Smith, Roger Vitt, and Pauline Cobb, who has been making pipes since 1942. So Pauline might have made this pipe. Although business is generally good, pipe making is a sideline with Stewart. He spends only 4 hours a day at the plant, then works an 8-hour shift as a machinist at an East Side Indianapolis plant. Making what, I wonder? I don't know. A machinist, though. Workers are hard to find these days, said Stewart. He is always on the lookout for people who would like to learn the craft. See? So, anyway, his supposition is that World War II was the peak of pipe smoking. News to me. I was thinking it would be mid-50s. I don't know. Claude L. Stewart. So this is the Indianapolis Star newspaper, obit, 11 November 1996. Claude L. Stewart, 72, Indianapolis, died November 10th. He was a machinist 24 years for Chrysler Corporation, retiring in 1988. He also owned Tracy Mincer Pipe Company, 40 years, and Claude L. Stewart Movers, 15 years. He was a member of Cumberland Masonic Lodge, Scottish Rite, and Murat Shrine. Memorial contributions can be made to Odyssey Healthcare or to Centenary Christian Church, of which he was a member. Blah, 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 blah. Survivors, wife Cleo M. Barr Stewart, children Claude L. Jr., Irvin V. Stewart, Mary B. Smith, some sisters, grandchildren, 3 great-grandchildren. So that was 1996. So he had the Tracy Mincer Pipe Company for 40 years. So, thank you, Joe, for sharing that stuff. It's amazing. It's like stepping back in time, kind of. So I'll put those at the end here of the video. And, yeah. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the articles, but good ones. So he was actually also Tracy Mincer was a World War I vet, and I'm going to read another one here. This is from 22 February 1946, the Indianapolis Star newspaper. So after World War II. There were quite a few vets who were still hospitalized. And so, and kind of forgotten, I think. So this is a picture of Tracy Mincer and a couple of guys at Billings General Hospital, presumably Indianapolis. Patients at Billings General Hospital are no longer rolling their own cigarettes, but are making their own pipes. Blocks and stems are provided the wounded veterans by Tracy Mincer, pipe manufacturing company head, who is shown second from the left. Captain Orrin Baker of Muncie, shown at left, specializes in dog heads. So, figural pipes. That's interesting. Standing at the right is Private First Class Lowell Kelsey of Fort Wayne, and then seated at the right is Private First Class Gordon Ketchum from Mason, Michigan. So, Tracy Mincer served in World War I, according to his obit. And let's see if we have another one here. Cited for aiding vets. So, this is from 23 February 1948. You know, that's a little bit of a forgotten period right after World War II. Up into, I'm going to say the mid-50s. You know, everybody was recovering. I don't know, I just feel like it's kind of a forgotten period for some reason. And if you read On the Road by Jack Kerouac, whoa, there's a book. It was a couple of guys on the road in the late 40s, early 50s, and it might as well have been 1969, you know. I mean, they were, they just had that attitude from that period. It's an illuminating read, because we kind of think of the Roosevelt years, the Eisenhower years, not Roosevelt, Eisenhower, Truman, and conformity, Leave It to Beaver, Dad in his suit going to work, Mom staying at home, being the homemaker with 2 perfect children, blah, blah, blah. You know, so On the Road is a great read to dispel that notion. Okay, so this is, again, from 1948. Cited for aiding vets. William O. Barry Leff, Vice President of the Custom-Built Pipes Company, 546 South Meridian Street, Indianapolis, and Tracy Mincer, Center, President, admire a citation given to their company by the National Employment Committee of the American Legion for an outstanding record in employing handicapped veterans. Harvey Stout, on the right, member of the committee, presented the citation. So, seems that Tracy Mincer and Custom Built, he had a civic sensibility and encouraged hiring vets. That's pretty cool. Yeah, there isn't much taste. Of course, this was pretty dried out stuff, this nightcap. But I'm always willing to try something, something new. So anyway, we'll see if my channel survives scrutiny by YouTube, and if not, you know, maybe there's a move afoot to do away with nicotine influence. It's evil, don't you know? Now, we think of ourselves as a little different, you know, us pipe smokers. But a lot of people just see it as tobacco and nicotine. And it's the devil's work. So we'll see what happens. I don't expect them to write back. They said you have like 5 or 7 days to appeal, and I appealed it immediately, so we'll see what happens. I might be surprised, but hopefully it's not an omen of upcoming censorship, you know. Anyway, it stopped raining for a week, so trying to take advantage of it and do a little mowing. I love this time of night. It's like the transition from daytime into the night creatures. The birds are all chirping and kind of going to bed. Occasionally you'll hear the coyotes howling. An owl may cruise through here.